disappointed locker room in there. We've been in a few close games here where we're one play away from winning, but not pulled them out. And Wisconsin deserves a lot of credit. They made a ton of big shots. I thought the shot making that they displayed in the first half, I think really kind of caught some of our guys off guard. We did a better job in the second half making them miss and having a level of violence. But, when you allow a team to get going like that, there's consequences of that because they feel a certain way about how the game is going. And obviously they had a lead. Our guys fought the second half, did a great job to force overtime. And then we had, at the end of regulation and in overtime, we had some open looks that we just didn't knock down for guys that we feel like are good shooters. So we just got to keep working and getting better.
Shaka, you mentioned that you guys have lost the close games that you played. What do you think you guys need to do just to improve in that aspect of the late game execution?
It's a lot of little things, Ben. We always say solid on defense, take care of the ball, and make your free throws. Team that does that at the end of the game has a great chance to win. So there was a couple times we weren't solid enough. Wall drove by us, laid the ball up. Their last basket, we had Hepburn in a trap over on the side. And he's a heck of a player, man. I can't say enough about, how much he impacted this game. And obviously he was out for a while and then came back. But you got to keep him over there. I think at one point we had 3 of our defenders trying to guard him, and he was able to turn the corner. So we got to be more solid on defense for sure. Thought our guys took care of the ball down the stretch pretty well, except for Cam had a time where he got by and they wrapped around, hit it away from him. All those little things matter. Every free throw, we didn't shoot terribly from the line. We shot 70%, but it felt like when we missed, those were big. And then, I think on the offensive end, just continuing to understand what we want and executing exactly what we're trying to do. I thought actually offensively, as good as Wisconsin is on D, I thought we had a pretty good game offensively. We just, we missed some shots that, we'd love to have back that were wide open when our guys made the right play and found the right guy.
Would you draw up for those full court plays in the final seconds?
Yeah, we gotta find the right guy to make that pass and that catch. We've worked on that some in practice, but nowhere near enough. And that's my job to find out who it makes sense to have make that pass. And they defended it well, but we were just trying to throw the ball at half court so we could have a little bit of time because it was only 3.5 and then 2-something seconds left.
Coach, you mentioned Chucky Hepburn earlier. You talked a lot about him last year, about how he was just solid as a freshman. What did you see in his performance now that he's a sophomore?
I think poise and aggressiveness, confidence. He played with a really aggressive offensive mentality. He hit a couple tough 2-point shots early in the game that I thought were, decently well defended. He just made them. And something we call that, good defense, better offense. And, that got him going. And then we left him open a couple times where he was able to shoot the ball from 3. I mean, between this game and the last game, Wake Forest, he's got double-digit threes that he's made in 2 games. So he's really got it going, shooting the ball from outside. But I think poise, aggressiveness, confidence, and he has a command of the game when he's out there.
Coach, there were some new faces for Wisconsin that you haven't seen with them in the past. What can you say about transfers Max Klesmet and Kamari McGee and what they gave the Badgers tonight?
I thought as a team, they played with great aggressiveness. And they did a good job playing through their best players. I thought Wall had the ball in his hands a lot. Obviously, we talked about what Hepburn did. Kroll, I thought, we obviously decided to trap the post. And he did a heck of a job on a lot of the possessions of handling that, passing the ball well. For a 7-footer to have 7 assists is rare. Absolutely, Klesmet was tough. I think he's a really good glue guy because he can do a little bit of everything, and he's not afraid. He plays with an aggressiveness about him.
Coach, near the second half, as the clock was running out, there was a lot of ticky-tack foul calls that put Wisconsin on the free throw line, and it kind of looked like you were getting a little frustrated with that. Do you think that's something you'll look back on the tape and work with the guys, and is that just inexperience and maybe being a little too hyped up with the game?
Yeah, I thought that for most of the game our guys did a nice job of that, but there was a stretch where we had a bunch of fouls in a row, and then I think Cam had one 90 feet away from their basket. That was, you can't foul when they're in a bonus at that point in that way. It's one of the hardest things when you play the way we play is to strike the balance between playing with violence and not fouling. And I thought that, again, most of the second half our guys did a pretty good job of that. But, when they get in the bonus that early, it makes it harder, infinitely harder. So we've got to keep getting better at eliminating some of those fouls that you're talking about. But you know what? When you're lost in a fight as a team and individually, you can go do great things and hard things like what you're talking about. And I thought, again, the second half we were better with that. We just got to continue to learn and grow as a group of young guys that have, let's be honest, we got a lot of guys that haven't necessarily been in the game even in these close games late. So now they have, and now they are. And our job as coaches and players is to internalize the lessons that come out of games like today, as much as it hurts, and not be deflated. Continue to grow and come back as we play in a few days.
Coach, Cam was just in here saying second half more aggressive on the defensive end. The numbers prove Wisconsin's offense. But in the first half, they shot close to 70%. Just what was hard to pick it up defensively to limit the Badgers to score?
I thought there was a tentativeness that we had, almost a hesitancy to fly around and be everything we needed to be on the defensive end. I don't know exactly why. If I had to guess, I would say, listen, you have to have a 1,000% clear mind, like this clear, if you want to go out and execute a really, really hard game plan against a really good team. And if there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 5% of, cloudedness or muddiness in that mind, then it makes you a little hesitant. And, so I always look at that. I thought our guys prepared really well, but I do think for a lot of our guys, first time playing at home in this rivalry, there was some nerves there. There was a little bit of, almost overexcited. We as a group, me as a coach, those guys as players, we have to learn to get better at handling that and go out and get lost in the fight and perform. I feel like when you're focused on your teammates and the guys around you, it's easier to do that. But again, much easier said than done.
Shaka, you wanted Cam to be more aggressive, draw more fouls, get to the free throw line more. How have you seen him do a better job of that this season?
He's growing. I mean, I thought his aggressiveness was really good. He's just such a unique, gifted scorer that, we need to continue to find different ways to put the ball in his hand. I'm sure we'll watch the tape and say, he should have had the ball here or there based on the end result of some of those possessions. But we shot over 50% in both halves. And with that, we had a bunch of looks in the second half going down the stretch that we'd love to have back. I mean, Omax has been shooting it really, really well from outside. So we'll take those shots. A couple that Stevie had, we'll take those shots. But Cam's being really aggressive. And, I think the biggest key for him to become a real complete player at this level is for him to continue to grow into a defensive identity, because he's just so gifted on the offensive end. He's going to have opportunities to score. We run a lot of stuff for him. He's got teammates that look for him. But I think he'll be the first one to tell you in the first half he got scored on a lot, and he's got to get better at that. So it's great. He's a sophomore. We get opportunity to grow. And last thing before I get out of here, I want to say congratulations to Ryan and his team for making the Sweet 16. Unbelievable accomplishment to make the Sweet 16 in any sport at any level. And what he's done has been phenomenal, and that's something for us, as a program. Obviously, he's been here a long time. They've done a lot of winning, but it's something for us to aspire to. Thank you, guys.